Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody, wherever you are. Come in, come in, come in. This is going to be a little upgrade to your software system. It's coming through live and hot, so I have no idea what it's going to be, but it's going to be fantastic. So we're 1 week away from the Day of Ascension. That's in the Christian calendar at the Orthodox Church. I'm only mentioning that to you because I thought it was today, and I ran to the church just to go take a look. I spent some time at the Greek Orthodox Church here in town. I'm usually at the Hindu temple. I'm an assistant to the priest there. And if I'm not there, then I'm either on the dance floor or at the dojo, or doing work with people. So I went there. There was nobody going. Nobody was there. The church was closed. And there was a little sign that said Bible study. Well, if you don't know, I have a massive background in all different cultural modes and modalities of religion. I speak about a dozen different languages. And I love people. I love being with people. And in that kind of atmosphere, I love to ask questions, to get down to the root of things. And in certain atmospheres, especially Christian ones, people usually find that very subversive, in a way that is not necessarily welcomed, because there's a certain obedience that is expected when you're moving in certain cultural realms. Don't ask questions. But what is a question? And that's what's coming through right now. So what this transmission is, what it's going to be, what it is understanding the intellect as a matter of physics, because the intellect is pure physics, but understanding the value of a true question and what questions actually are. A true question is not a means of trying to arrive at an answer. A true question is a way of cutting the head off of untruth. It's a way of trimming off the fat, so to speak. When somebody makes a proposition that is false, if you actually see through the paradigm within which that proposition is made, you ask a question. Not a question that is meant to be rude or silly or even rebellious in some superficial understanding of that word. But if you can see the dualistic paradigm within which a question is being asked, within which a statement is being made, you can ask a question that cuts down to the root of that false paradigm. And it effectively pulls the rug out from underneath the mind of the person you're speaking to. And it forces them to either confront themselves and their prejudices and their cognitive distortions, or else they have to retreat back into cognitive dissonance. You can't do anything about anybody's state of consciousness, but you can ask them questions which cut away the ground upon which they're standing. And you can do it in one fell swoop, or you can do it little by little, bit by bit. And how that happens depends upon the electromagnetic field which the person is occupying, which is exactly what's happening right now. This speaking that's happening, and the transmission as it's happening, and the words coming out the way they're happening, are all relative to the electromagnetic field within which this recording is taking place, and that includes everybody who is a part of this channel. Yes, the people who like, the people who watch, you've plugged in, you've introduced yourself to the electromagnetic grid that this channel is a part of as a smaller piece of a larger whole. It's all one thing, it's all connected. But especially those of you who are subscribed to the channel, you have, in a way, purchased membership, if you will. You've grabbed a sort of, you know when you go to a restaurant and there's a long wait, and some restaurants do it even if it's a short wait, but they give you those pagers, those buzzers, and you can go walk around the restaurant, you can go outside, you can even go across the street to the mall or whatever, and as soon as your table's ready, your buzzer will start beeping and vibrating, right? Well, it's kind of like that. When you subscribe to this channel, you are given an energetic buzzer of sorts, but it's not just something that alerts you to a broadcast or a new upload. I mean, that happens via, the notification process, and if you are attuned and you need something from this, you may end up logging in when a new video is uploaded. But more than that, your own personal pranic body, your pranic structure, is plugged into this electromagnetic grid, which this channel is alchemizing, is conducting. So if you're subscribed to the channel, your energy influences the messages that are being given, as well as the individuals who are on their way to the channel, who haven't subscribed or even watched yet, but who are being magnetically drawn to it. That's also influencing what's being said. And even the people who are not part of the channel, their lack of participation also influences what's being said. So basically, what is coming out right now as this recording is a function of the sum total consciousness of the universe, and that's what everything is. So when you're aware of this, then being here in the presence of one who is aware of awareness, one who is conscious of consciousness, gives you the opportunity to step into that same awareness. And then the function that is performed out of that, or the functions, will simply take place naturally, without any force, without the need to try to muscle through. There are times and places where muscling is a little bit necessary, right? If a bolt is a little bit too tight and you have to put some WD-40 on that shit and, crank that hog, then you've got to do what you got to do, right? Sometimes you really have to use some elbow grease in certain situations. But in those situations when you do have to use elbow grease, it's obvious, and it's not coming from a place of frustration, it's not coming from a place of hatred, of malice, of distortion, of anger. It's not coming from a place of wanting to bend something to your will. It has to do with a fact of your understanding and awareness of the mechanics of the process that's occurring in front of you, and that awareness of the mechanic is not separate from the mechanic. It's one seamless consciousness, of which the pieces, the matter in front of you, are a part of. Without the matter in front of you, there would be no awareness of the physics. And so the physics and the awareness of the physics are one and the same. So when you see that what you are is a function of the sum total happening of the universe, and therefore nothing's ever out of tune, there are no mistakes, nothing ever happens outside of its designated time and hour. And so all this talk about destiny versus free will, it's all nonsense. You can say there is only destiny, free will is an illusion, but even then you can say that destiny is also an illusion, because to whom is destiny happening? Destiny is not happening to anybody, because there's nobody here. There is only God. There's only consciousness. There's only the universe. So as long as there is the feeling of one who is going to contrive something, one who's going to do something to show somebody something, it doesn't really work. It doesn't really work. So in experience, you are either surrendered to consciousness, to God, to truth, to love, or else there's the experience of trying to hold on to the experiencer, the individual, the ego, the personality, as being the ultimate absolute agent of movement and discourse here in time-space reality, which of course is not true. So when you see that the only agent, the only doer is God, the only will is God's, so that the very notion of God's perfect will and the will of God that can be subverted or disobeyed by the will of the ego, that's ridiculous. The will of the ego appearing to disobey the will of God is still the will of God. There's nothing but the will of God. There is no personal will, there is no personal ego. Those are illusions. There's no experience, there's no experiencer. There's nothing being experienced. That's all illusion. So if you're here with me and you're getting this, you're getting it. And even if it upsets you when you turn away, it's okay, you're already got. I already have you, you're already mine. If you've heard my voice and you've seen my face, you're already mine, I have you. And I am not the body, I'm not the mind, I'm consciousness, I'm your own self. The minute you come into contact with me, it's done for you. whether you end up finishing your process in the presence of this apparent body, or whether it happens slowly throughout life, or whether you come back later, or whether you meet me in another form somewhere else, that is what it is, because I am you. I am all beings. You're always with me. You're always with me. So there's no point in dividing that up here and saying, hi, my name's so-and-so, and here's who I am, and now I'm going to channel this spirit of God. It doesn't work like that. There's no channel, there's no channeler. You can call this platform a channel because that's the proper nomenclature for a particular video on a particular screen with a particular body speaking with a particular voice on a particular platform and so on. But there's no person here. There's no person anywhere. Persons don't exist. There is only consciousness. There's only God. And there is either the experience of ignorance of that, or else there is the awareness of awareness itself. And when there's awareness of awareness itself, that's the key, that's the medicine. That is the freedom. And that freedom must be shared. It demands to be shared. And so here we are, sharing it because it's time to share it. So there has to be this complete open willingness to simply be as you are. And that means to have no preconceived notion of anything, what you're going to say, what you're going to do. It means that you are totally unpredictable. What's going to be said, what's not going to be said, that will take place as it needs to take place. These are your words. This is your mouth. These are your hands. These are your eyes. This is your face. This is your body. And you're moving it. Whether you're willing to take responsibility for that or not is another matter. So first, you move from no responsibility, and then you move into complete responsibility, and then you move completely beyond the notion of responsibility or irresponsibility. It means nothing. And in that lack of distinction between self and other, mine and yours, this and that, there is simply an absolute doing, being, non-doing, non-being awareness of what is, without any distinction made between too fast, too slow, in any kind of large-scale temporal sense. If someone comes up and, scratches, you might say nothing, you may say, hey. If someone's grabbing too fast, you might go, hey, slow down or whatever, or let's connect or whatever it is, and that's all arising spontaneously. And so everything that is said arises spontaneously, and nothing links to the previous moment. That's called release from karma. Continuity is a picture sold by a director who feasts on your enthrallment. Why waste time feeding mirror-faced mannequins when living mouths are crying out for love? There is no continuity. Continuity is an illusion. It's an illusion. There's no past. There's no future. There isn't even a present moment separate from the past or the future or from another present moment. There is only the eternal beingness of beingness. I won't even say now, or I don't even like the word now. I don't even like the word present. The word presence is okay, but I can't stand all of that, be here now. It's fucking flaky and it doesn't dig into the meat of the moment, which is what we're here for. I want you to be high on God. I want you to be high on ecstasy. I want you to be high on peace, on stillness, on love. I want you to be fucking lost in heaven. I want you to be agog and agog. I want you to be fucking drunk on spirit. And I want you to be unashamed of that. I don't want you to be here trying to find the now and trying to get rid of your thoughts and trying to make your mind quiet. That's a fucking stupid ass waste of goddamn motherfucking time. That shit's all been said. It's hackneyed, old, dry, boring, and dumb. And it isn't fucking helpful. I want you to be high on God. I want you to be intoxicated on the ecstasy of your own being. That's what the name Odin means. Odin is not a name. Odin means he or the one who is intoxicated on the ecstasy, the fury, of the wisdom of his own consciousness. Fury, wisdom, ecstasy, the same words. Odin, he who is intoxicated on the ecstasy, on the fury of his own consciousness, of shamanic consciousness, of the consciousness of the source of being. And this is an intelligence that you have to plug into. You have to realize it as your own self. And you have to go through the ordeal of complete self-emptying. You have to completely sacrifice yourself to yourself, surrender yourself to yourself completely. And in that you lose all restraint, completely. And that means that you come out here and you use your body fully and completely with no holds bar. You will move in ways you've never moved in your life. You will move like you've never moved in your life. You will dance like you've never danced in your life. You will surrender. You will want to be ravished. Your whole body, from top to toe, from tail to taint. Tip to taint, rather. You will find an absolutely erotic relationship with the entirety of the cosmos. Your whole body will be in an absolute orgasm, and you will want nothing but to be decimated from every angle and every side, in every dimension, and you will let yourself have it. And in that moment of becoming completely and absolutely receptive to all that is, you know yourself to be all that is. That the very receptivity to all that is the self-same thing as all that is. You are both the lover and the beloved. You are both the giver and the receiver, who are both one and the same. No difference between them. You are both Shiva and Shakti. You are both Christ and the Magdalene, Mary. You are both the Buddha and the Quan. You are everything. Whether there's a mythological coupling in names or not is irrelevant. You are all that is. Here, making love with yourself, ecstatically, constantly. You are ecstasy, ecstatic on its own ecstasy. You are love, loving its own love. You are peace, piecing its own peace. You are God, godding God. You are awareness, aware of awareness. And that is eternity. That is infinity. Two perfect mirrors facing each other. What happens then? If you try to look at it as a person, you can only come in from an angle, and that's why the infinity ends from your perception. You can tell it's infinite theoretically, but when you're looking at two mirrors facing each other, you can only get an angle because of the face and the eyes. And so you can see the frame of the mirror inside of the reflection happening in the mirror. So even though you see it goes on infinitely, you can't see it. You could only see it if you were actually here where the mirror is. You see? But if you were, the very presence of the body physically in between the mirror, even looking out from the mirror, would cause some kind of, unless you had the one-way mirror that you can look behind and you can see the thing, right? But then eventually, because of the physics of light and the physicality of the mirrors, there would be a dark fading out. And if you try to put a light in there, the light would obscure the image of infinity coming out of the mirror, right? So even though you can see infinity, the very fact of physics being what it is demands a limiting curve be placed on that. So physics is always finite. The infinite is always non-physical. And love is not physical. The very source of everything is not physical. In fact, the physical is all made of the non-physical. Otherwise, the two would have no relationship. Because the physical and the non-physical have no relationship. As ego and consciousness have no relationship. They can't. It's not possible. But when you see that time, space, and thought is made of non-time, non-space, non-thought, that form is made of formlessness, that there is no form. Form is it's an illusion, as it's been called. It's a mirage made up of timelessness, of formlessness, and you know yourself to be that. And therefore you are also all form, past, present, and future, which is all a relative appearance to a brain, which is identified with an object in time-space thought. It's only object awareness, which is the same thing as subject awareness, that creates the appearance of time, space, and thought, past, present, future. When you're here completely free and clear, there is no time, no space, no thought, no elements, no birth, no death, no separation, no enlightenment, no unenlightenment. There's just being. And so what is called enlightenment is just a reference to the natural state, made by the ego, made by thought, by memory. When all is in the natural state, there's no enlightenment to talk about. There's only laughter and play. Laughter, play, and dance. And the mind, as memory, as comparison, gets attached. And then something leaves or someone dies. And then there's grief. Because there's ignorance about what this body is. About what consciousness is. Nothing wrong with grief, nothing wrong with ignorance. It's just that ignorance is suffering. And suffering is ignorance. And so you come forth to tell the truth, because the truth must be told. To whoever is willing to listen, the truth must be told. Because that truth is love, and telling the truth is love. So to whom does one speak? To one's own self. Because myself is all there is, and you are myself. And so in love, I'm giving you back to yourself. I'm giving myself back to myself. I give myself to myself in love. And you are myself, and so I give myself to you. And you must know this and recognize this as your own self. Otherwise, you will stay hopelessly lost. And so there's no coercion here. No need to conform to anything. No need to dress a certain way, or talk a certain way, or walk a certain way, or sit or stand, or do anything a certain way. There's no need to do anything a certain way. Love alone knows what is. Love alone knows what is needed. Love alone takes care of all things. Love. And in love, there's only the desire to hear, to understand, to be present, to hold completely open the availability of freedom immediately to all, for all. And that freedom is freedom from coercion, freedom from conformity, freedom from obedience to any structure, stricture, doctrine, dictate, dogma. No attempt to trick anybody, manipulate anybody into fulfilling your desires. Because in love, there's no desire. Love is pure desirelessness. And that means no desire to get rid of desire. It means no desire, no need to indulge in anything, to accept anything, or to reject anything. And so everything is one and all right, just as it is. And always has been. And always will be. And it's only when that's not seen do people go about doing terrible things to one another. Not knowing themselves, not knowing each other, and using other people's stories, whether actual or fabricated and false, as a shield to avoid facing themselves. If I would have gone into that Bible study, I would have fucked them up. Well, if they had merited it, it would have happened. If they needed it, then it would have taken place. Maybe next time, huh? One doesn't go where one's energy is wasted. If the energy is wasted, one doesn't go there. There's no need for it. It's a shame to waste energy. It's a shame to waste anything. And when you look at the economy of the universe, nothing is actually wasted. There may be the appearance of waste in order to teach you something about waste, but that waste isn't really waste. It's only the appearance of waste, so that you might understand something. When you finally see, you see there is... See, if I say there's nothing to see, you'll take that as a cop-out for your own self. Because for me, it's not a cop-out, because I'm with it. But if I say that to you, you might take it as a cop-out for your own self, as a permission for you to cop out. When people who don't want to do the work hear the phrase that, oh, there is no enlightenment, there is no blah, 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 they stay in their ego. And they go, yeah, there is no enlightenment, and blah, 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 blah. It's like, well, you're still bitter and jaded and angry and cynical. And so if you're bitter and jaded and cynical, that means you're dead on your feet, you're asleep. If there's actual awakening, if there's actual awareness, actual consciousness, then you are plugged into an infinite source of energy, of joy, of love, of peace, of ecstasy, of stillness, of compassion. That's not dependent upon anything coming or going, not dependent on having or not having anything. And your only responsibility is to that, not to anybody's notion of truth or lies or anything else. And this is all-embracing and all-encompassing. It doesn't turn its back on anyone or anything. Very good. Thank you for being here today. 50 points if you know what that's from. What are the points good for? Enlightenment points? Bring your tickets up to the counter at the end and you'll win a fabulous prize. But really, thank you for being here. You appreciate it. By which I mean I appreciate it. God appreciates it. Your true self appreciates it. Your angels and dragons and unicorns appreciate it. The masters appreciate it. And that's a nice way of speaking, of course. It's a personality way of speaking. Because the truth is that all those beings are beyond appreciation or disappreciation or unappreciation. Appreciation is a sentiment, which brings about a feeling of warm-heartedness and kindness and kindly feeling, which is beautiful. And that's why we exchange such feeling and sentiment. But the truth itself is beyond such feeling and sentiment. It may be conducive to such sentiment, and there's nothing wrong with that feeling at all. Nothing wrong with appreciation. But eventually appreciation has to end. Both appreciation and depreciation. And unappreciation. And misappreciation. All of that has to go. Until there's nothing left but God. Nothing left but your own self. In the still silence of your own being. And it's out of this still silence that all movement takes place. That all movement appears to take place. And then everything that you need to do, you will do. Promise. It'll get done. You will get up and you'll go to the bathroom, you'll get some food, take a shower. You'll do what you have to do. You'll do what is needed. because there's no choice. If you think that stillness and silence and consciousness means forcing yourself to sit here and not do anything, woohoo, that's doing something. Forcing yourself to do or not do something, that's contrived. A lot of people hear this and go, fine, I'll just sit here and not do anything then. Who's sitting there trying not to do something? Dumbass? Sorry. But, I don't mean to insult anybody. But, it's like, come on. That's stupid and childish. That's a tantrum. There's nothing to this. It literally means just being your natural self. Without any filter, without any mask, without any clinging to the conditioning of your family, culture, nation, etc. Can you do that? Drop all that conditioning right now? Please do it. And be free. Om Namah Shivaya.